Center for Excellence in Patient Care.
The views and opinions expressed by callers, guests, and hosts do not necessarily reflect those of the Black Talk Radio Network and Black Talk Media Project. Black Talk Radio is new black media for the new millennium.
Good morning. Today is Tuesday, December 6th, and I just had a birthday the other day, and I'm 16 and never been kissed.
Happy birthday to you.
This is Kenny Hendrix. It is time again, Tuesday morning again, 10 o'clock here in Big D, and it's 8 o'clock on the West Coast, on the left coast, as they like to call it. This is Change Matters Solutions. I'm Kenny Hendrix.
And I am Colette Williams, and yes, this is the West Coast. La La Land, as they call it. Yeah, this is Colette Williams, and we're here this morning on a very cloudy and cold, wintry day here in, I guess this is still considered sunny Southern California. Yeah, well, how does the song go? It never rains in California. They got that right. We could use some rain here. But yes, good morning, and thank you so much for joining us. I am Colette Williams, and we are here on Tuesday, December 6th, just a few short days before the big day, Christmas. And folks, we're here to celebrate Christmas and all that it should bring. And we certainly hope that all of you are enjoying the holidays and doing as much as you can to be grateful and thankful for all that you have and all that we have. It is a time of the year when we reflect and when we talk about not only the things that bring us joy, but the things that we can be thankful for and how we are going to proceed for the next year. So we've got a lively show, right, Ken?
Yes, we do. And if any of you are on our distribution list, you see what the promo is. We talked about what we're going to talk about. This is going to be the first time we've talked about the election this year, post-election. That we've talked about it. It's been something that I've had a hard time processing, how we were able to come to the point where we have elected someone who is uniquely unqualified to be to sit in that seat after we've had such a magnificent president this last time. But we're sitting here in a position where we've got a man who has made fun of disabled people. He's denigrated war heroes. He is just about lied every time he's opened his mouth. He has proven he does not want the job, and he continues to do things that are really going to hurt this country. In fact, just yesterday or the day before, he took a phone call from Taiwan.
Yeah, wow.
Not understanding that, there's the political implications of taking that phone call with regard to our relationship with China. And I think we're going to see more and more of that. Because, again, he really doesn't understand what's going on. The whole thing was a ruse for him. It's going to be a problem. It's going to be a problem. The other part of this is that in North Carolina, there was a Post reported a very small, only minutes long, quote, parade of KKK members going up and down the street celebrating the election of Trump.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a lot going on both domestically in terms of race relations and internationally in terms of foreign relations, given the fact that we've got this man as president. So if you'd like to join in on this conversation, please give us a call. Colette, you want to get those numbers out?
Sure. Those numbers are, or that number, 866-510-9025, and press ***. Once again, the number is 866-510-9025 and hit ***. You can also email us at changematters99@gmail. That's changematters99@gmail. And send your questions and comments, and we will respond immediately. But do call in. This is a talkback show, and we'd like to talk to our listeners and get your opinion. And remember, this show is about solutions. This show is about solutions that we can all come together and work on, solutions for what's going on not only in the Black community, but in communities all across the country. And we believe that everyone has a right to express their views and opinions, and we can take those things and digest them and create some kind of solution for what's going on and for the things that are troubling us. And as Ken said, with the outcome of the election, it's just about a month behind us, and there are people still around who cannot get past this. And this is only the second time that a president-elect, and it takes me a little bit, I'm saying that I can't call the name, but yuck. But how he could automatically walk in the next day and start choosing a transition team and a cabinet and doing things that are ordinarily unheard of. Someone sent me an email the other day on the FLOTUS, the First Lady of the United States, and to see the First Ladies in previous years, and then you get down to the one who is a nude model. That's volumes. That is, I don't understand that. I don't get that.
It speaks volumes. It speaks volumes about the hypocrisy
of the
right,
yes,
the right
the hypocrisy. Yes,
and these
it
evangelicals.
Just, right. And how do we make sense of all of this? And we're hearing all the time, you guys, come on, get over it. And as the president has said, if he's successful, we are successful. I really don't think that there is a care in the world, because that ego and that arrogance and that profound inability to reflect and change the course of that behavior hasn't happened. And we've witnessed that time and again. So what would make someone think that just because that person has become the most powerful man in the land, the behavior is going to change?
You know the right wing had a problem with Michelle Obama because she wore dresses.
She wore a dress, with her
dresses.
arms out. She wears dresses with her arms out, and how could she? Well, how do you have a so-called first lady who has nude photos all over the planet? How do you have that? If you are afraid, if you want to criticize for arm showing, what do you say about an entire birthday suit showing? What do you say about that?
Yeah.
Okay.
Again, it shows hypocrisy, and I've said this before. After McCain lost and after Romney lost, they said, they weren't conservative enough. We need a real conservative. We need somebody with conservative credentials, conservative bona fides. They said all these things. And Donald Trump is none of those things. He's absolutely none of those things. And it shows the absolute hypocrisy of them. They want this, they want that. After the last election, they said they had to do the autopsy. They did the autopsy and said, we need to change these things. And they did none of that. But see what it was? They embraced the xenophobia, the racism, the otherism, all those things. They embraced that because he said, I'm going to make America great again, take it back to what it used to be. And you know what? America wasn't great for a lot of people during those times. And
Right.
so we have a real problem here. And you talk about, people talk about, people on the right like to talk about Obama being the most divisive president ever. I guarantee you right now, we're going to see some divisiveness that you haven't seen in decades that's going on in this
Right.
country right now. Again, and that just a good segue into a point I'd like to bring up. Something I've been wanting to talk about on the show for quite
Mhm.
some time, is that with things happening like again this in North Carolina, these KKKers doing their quote parade. Again, the article said it only lasted a few minutes, but they're feeling their oats right now. They feel that they can do anything that they want
Yes.
because Donald
Yes.
Trump is president.
Right.
And
Yeah.
I'm gonna tell black folks out there, you need to be prepared for these idiots. I don't think there's going to be anything in terms of an all-out race war or anything like that, but I think you can have these pockets of individuals
Right. Right.
who are feeling their oats. They're going to feel they can do anything they want. They may be out there to come burn a cross on your lawn.
Right.
It may be they may call, oh, I'm just joking around and things like that. But you better be careful. And I'm going to say this.
Right.
I'm going to say this. I'm going to say this. Black people need to arm themselves. We need to be armed. We have Second Amendment rights just like everyone else in this
Just like
country
they
has
do.
Second
Mhm.
Amendment rights. We were not
Right.
allowed to own weapons and guns, 50, 60, 70, 80, 100 years ago. The fact that we can own guns and protect ourselves, I think if we don't, I think it is negligent for us not to use our Second Amendment rights and protect ourselves,
Mhm.
protect our families, protect the ones that love us. I'm a gun
Right.
owner. I'm very involved in guns right now. I was at the gun show. I'm sorry, the gun range, um, 2 weekends ago. I think it was 2 weekends ago. And I was very, very pleasantly surprised and it warmed my heart. Half the people at the gun range were black. And what made it even more interesting was that most of the black people were black couples coming in there,
Mm. Mhm.
husbands
I
and
think you did
wives.
tell me about that. Mhm.
They were bringing their teenage kids in, showing them how to use weapons and protect themselves. I was so
Mhm.
enlightened by that because we have been, again, we vote democratically most of the time.
Historically, yes.
Historically,
Mhm.
and Democrats are not pro-gun. I can get some arguments from people. They may not be anti-gun, but they're not pro-gun. I think we need to develop a more pro-gun stance in terms of protecting ourselves. I think if you are an adult black male without a felony, you're over 18 or 21, depending upon what it is in your state, I think you need to go out there and get yourself armed. I go to gun shows all the time, and I'm seeing more and more black people at gun shows. I was at one probably 3 months ago, and I saw this one young brother, tall guy, about 6'3", 6'4", something like that. So I'm walking around. A little bit later, I saw him. He had an AR-15 strapped to him that he had bought. I saw him about 10 minutes later. He had bought another one. So it's happening out there. So we need to continue to arm ourselves. And if you're listening to me, and if you've got some opinions on this, I'd love to hear your opinions on this, whether it's pro or con. But we need to arm ourselves because if things get bad, you need to be prepared.
Right. Well, we are going to hear from the listening audience. I'm sure there will be some backlash about that. But the fact remains, when you take a look around at some of the things that are going on and some of the things that are being said, you look at and listen to the rhetoric. I was watching Roland Martin, and the nationalist, the president of the nationalist, was on. And the things that this person spewed was absolutely incredible. In fact, I think I was preparing to go out. I couldn't move. And this person is exactly like his favorite person on the planet. He couldn't put a sentence together. Roland Martin spoke about facts and figures and gave this person all of the information for him to make a conscious and knowledgeable and slightly intelligent response. He couldn't do it. He just continued to talk about, we're taking our country back. We built this country. It's ours. The races should not mix. And the things that this person spewed was absolutely incredible.
They don't care about
And
facts.
yeah, it was on Roland Martin. And there are no facts. There are no facts. And what took place was a white supremacist meeting in Washington, D.C., and it was recorded. And Roland spoke about it, and he asked the guy, why would you have people there who are using the Heil Hitler salute? And he defended it by saying, oh, it's just exuberance. It's just exuberance. People are excited and they're happy and they're showing it and they're demonstrating their exuberance. And Roland said, that's not exuberance. That's a Hitler salute. Well, you know, it is exuberance, and it's not that. It's not a Hitler salute, but the
just
kid
like the Confederate flag is all about culture.
Oh
it's
yeah,
not
yeah,
about racism.
yeah, exactly. But it was, to listen to this person was dangerous. In fact, when I heard, I couldn't believe this guy. I just could not believe not only the nonsense, but the dangerous rhetoric that this person was spewing. I may have mentioned this program to you, but it was like he was on another planet. In fact, I think he came from Pluto, and remember, Pluto is not a planet. This is someone who is dangerous, and there is a room full of followers who are having a meeting. They are the KKK, and they don't mind telling you. They do not mind telling you. They do not mind spewing the rhetoric that they have told. They believe their own rhetoric. Let's call it that.
They've been given permission. They've been given permission.
They have no information. And he continued to say, we built this country. We built this country. We made this country great. We built this country. Roland said, who built it was really crazy because he said, who built the pyramid? And this kid said, we built the pyramid. And Roland just kind of went back. He leaned back in his chair and he said, is Egypt in Africa? And the boy said, no. He said, Egyptians are not African, they're white people.
You know, the facts don't matter to...
Oh, no, the facts don't matter. No,
and
no.
Trump even took that even further and further and further. All it is you're right, rhetoric, it's demagoguery. You know, at its best, at its highest level. Job.
And there are people who listen and go for that. And they have a way to clearly call it intellect. They call it intellect.
No,
and I'd like to know.
They are anti-intellectual. They're anti-intellectual.
Oh, yeah.
They always talk about how all the colleges and universities are full of liberals and liberals in this college and university. Even back to, Rick Santorum, when he said, and I semi-quote him when he said, Obama said everybody should go to college. What a snob.
Okay.
Because Obama wants everybody to go to college.
So
he's a snob? No,
so he's a snob because
everybody's not going to go to college, but everybody should have the opportunity to go to college. But that's snobbery?
That's snobbish? Really?
Listen
There's
to this.
so many snobs on the planet then.
The experts say there is global warming. Republicans say there is no global warming. The experts say there is no in-person voter fraud. Republicans say there is in-person voter fraud. So they won't listen to the experts if it doesn't fit their agenda.
Right. Right. And remember, that clown was the one that said, if he doesn't win, then it's rigged. It's rigged. The whole thing is rigged. Remember, he said that.
Right.
But now that he somehow walked away as the elect, it's not rigged. It's no longer rigged.
He said it during the primary. He said it's rigged, but then he said, but if I win, then that's okay. It's all right. He actually said
it's okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's okay. What a I try my best not to use profanity, but whoa, what a real clown this is.
Also, his wife does not want to move into the White House until the 10-year-old boy, finishes school. So we taxpayers are going to have to pay for her protection in New York for as long as they live there. Until
Wow. Who? What?
yeah, she doesn't want to
What?
pull. She doesn't want to pull.
Who has really? I've seen that, and I just thought, you guys are really, you're making statements that are clear to some people and just okay with others. That is not okay. That is just not okay. We're going to have to pay for that, for any and all things that they do, that they want to do their way. That just, oh boy, really. Yeah. This is going to be interesting. This is going to be interesting. And it's not more of the same. It's just a scary, very scary time. A very scary time that we are going to have to work diligently to make sure that it does not impact all of us on a very negative level. I can't see any good coming out of this. I just don't.
Well, I think the Democrats need to step up today, and I'm really upset no one said this yet. They need to say, for the next 4 years, we are going to block any and every Supreme Court nominee.
Yes.
We're going to block them. They need to have a completely anti-Trump agenda. They should say, we hope he fails. You know, they should do everything in their power to make sure nothing good comes from a Trump presidency. This is exactly what they did to Obama. And
nothing good will come of it. Nothing good will come of it. Okay, what can we expect out of this? What can we expect? He's already done things that are outrageous. So what can we expect? What can we expect?
Well, so he's already messed up with China. There's some other things going on where he doesn't know and he doesn't care. I'm looking at CNN right now. It says Trump advisor on Taiwan call. If China doesn't like it, screw them.
Okay. Yeah. Okay, here we go already. And his behavior will tell other countries, other leaders, what to expect from this country. And that just ain't a good thing. That just isn't a good thing. He is out of control. He's out of control. He is not easily controlled. And again, his arrogance and his ego, that will cause problems. That causes problems for anybody, whether they are in the White House or not. That causes problems for anybody. A principal at a high school, that causes problems there. So to be so-called the most powerful man in the land, and he's known for arrogance and out-of-control behavior, really? Come on. And it really gets me when I hear people say, well, you know, he's smart. When? When and how do you call that smart? So when someone who can speak and never speaks with fact, everything that comes out of the mouth is either a lie or fiction, who cares nothing about facts?
Well,
really?
Let's not call it fiction. Let's call it what it is. Lie. And the press is culpable in him being where he is. They hung on his every word. He played them like a deck of cards. He said, he would say, I'm giving a press conference on his golf course.
They would run.
He would talk about the golf course. He said it in his hotel. He did it. And they would get mad, but they'd hang on every word.
Right.
It's part of their problem. They wouldn't call him a liar to his face. You know, what's his name tried? Stephanopoulos.
George Stephanopoulos,
when he asked him about, it was right after
he never owned up to anything that he said. He never owned up to anything, and they would come back and say, well, didn't you say? Well, you already said. Well, never owned up to anything.
It looks like we've got a caller, and I think we've got a caller on. Caller, are you there?
Good morning.
Good morning, is that
Good
Andrew?
morning.
Hello, how are you?
How are you? I'm my queen and my king.
We're good, Andrew.
Good
How are
morning.
you?
This is Andrea James. I just want to say that we might possibly have one more slim chance because we have the electoral vote on December 19th.
I know
So,
one person has said they will not vote for him, and another one said
one.
they were going to step
Right.
down. That may be all it
It
takes.
could be more than one.
That may be
Wow.
all it
So
takes.
we have a chance. we have a chance. But you know what? The most important thing is that we've got to find a way out of this, and we've got to find a way to make this work. I don't think that presidency is going to work. I just do not. And other people are saying we have got to just give it a chance, get over it, do what you need to do. It is not that simple. It's not that cut and dry. It's not that simple. Come on, people. Come on. And with some states having huge numbers of African American people that did not get out and vote.
Either that or some places they went, the polls in the black areas, the polls were closed early and they didn't get a chance to vote. But what about also they're saying that some people voted illegally? What's up with that?
Yeah.
And what about the recount? Is that still
And you know
going on?
what? Don't believe that. Don't believe that. I've worked the polls for
believe the hype.
years. Don't believe the hype. I was an inspector this year at the polls. You know what? That's practically impossible to do. I've worked the polls. I worked this year. I was the inspector this year. Don't believe it. Don't believe it, because it is not that just come on. No. That's hype. No. That's not an easy task for someone to come in and vote fraudulently. That's not easy to do. And I don't know that all polls in all states operate the same way. I certainly know about here in California. That's a difficult thing to do.
It's not until 2018 that there's going to be a new method of voting that they're working on right now. But that doesn't help us right now. But I think it doesn't matter who's in the White House. We as people, this is our time to really stand up, support black businesses, shop black businesses, recycle the black dollar, because as has been proven in history, as we come together as a collective, we are powerful. And this is the point that we're at right now. There's always a solution to the problem, but complaining about the problem is not a solution. It's time to stand up and take action. And with this is be killed while being black. That's just I've never seen anything like this in my lifetime, and it's just a total oxymoron. Where we have one of the most respected men be in the White House. Change. I don't agree with everything that he did, but for the most part, I do. And then now with this person,
like this,
it's total opposite.
We're at the bottom of the hour. We're at the bottom of the hour. We're going to go ahead and go to break. We're going to take a quick station break here. Andrea, you want to hang on with us after the break?
Yeah, we got to pay some
thank you
bills.
for the invitation.
Okay.
Yeah, we could stay on, Andrea. We got to pay some bills. Let's run that, and we'll be back. We'll be right back. Thank you.
The Southern California Women's Health Conference, Expo, and Man Cave is running between the dates of December the 1st through the 15th In 2016, you can give yourself the gift of good health this season. Attend the SoCal Women's Health Conference and Expo that brings together thousands of women, men, families, community-based health organizations, medical professionals, beauty and wellness experts for a day of education, inspiration, and fun in Pasadena, California on Friday, December the 16th. All workshops and expos are free, and the Man Cave too. Register at www.thesocalhealthconference.org. That is www.thesocalhealthconference.org.
Okay.
Black Talk Radio since 2008, providing new black media for the masses.
And this is Change Matters Solutions, and we are back. I'm Kenny Hendricks, and we have a good friend of the show, Andrew Drames, on here speaking to us. We've been talking about the election and the implications there for not only domestic implications, but foreign implications as well. We're going to continue that conversation. One of the other things I wanted to bring up as a follow-up to my talk about black people arming themselves is survival. We need to make sure that we are prepared for anything that goes on. I've been a proponent of having a survival kit in your home for decades. I've been doing it for years, and over the years I've gotten better and better about it. And I put more things in there. One of the things that struck me some years ago in New Orleans when Hurricane Katrina came through was when they had the debacle down at the big stadium. And there was a woman that said, the government told us to come down here, then they didn't tell us what to do. We need to be prepared and understand what we need to do. We don't need to wait for somebody to tell us what to do in those situations. We need to be prepared with survival kits in our home where we have water, we have food, we have medical supplies, we have ways to communicate. It is not expensive to put together. You can take things that you already have in your home and put them away, put them in a box, put them in a suitcase, put them somewhere where you have immediate access where in emergency situations, whether it's a man-made situation or a natural disaster such as Hurricane Katrina or the hurricane up on the Hurricane Sandy up on the East Coast in New Jersey. Same thing happened to a lot of those folks. They were not prepared. People, you have got to be prepared. You've got to be prepared with the things I just mentioned, and you've got to be prepared to protect yourself, because if we get into a situation like this, sometimes you're going to have things that other people want, and you need to be prepared to
protect yourself.
To protect yourself and to protect the things that you have.
Right.
And again,
right.
It is not
today
expensive.
Here in, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was going to say, it is not expensive. When you first start doing it, you grab a couple of cans of beans, a bag of rice, throw it into a box. Then a couple of weeks later, throw some crackers in there. There's a lot of things that you do. You don't have to go out and buy things. You need
water, alcohol, cotton balls, Band-Aids. Non-perishable items.
Right, exactly.
Those non-perishable items.
Yeah, you don't want to try to put eggs or milk or anything in there.
Yeah. Yeah, package of a steak or ground beef, yeah.
Right, exactly. So,
yeah.
And get things that are going to help you subsist in those situations. Make sure it's readily available. Where you put it's going to be up to you, because there's no perfect place to put it. If you've got it in a closet by the door, and then an earthquake happens, then that door's blocked, you can't get to it. If you've got it in your bag, there's no perfect place to put it. But just start getting yourselves together. Start putting together your, particularly, and you have to understand natural disasters, understand the disasters in your area. I'm in the Texas area. We have tornadoes. Colette, you're in California. Andrea, you're in California. You've got earthquakes out there.
Earthquakes, yeah.
Right. In the Gulf, you've got hurricanes. On the East Coast, you've got hurricanes snowing in. Any of these things, prepare yourselves. Don't wait for the government to tell you what to do. When
Yeah,
something
please
like that
don't.
occurs,
Please don't, because that's not going to happen. They're going to tell you, wait until I tell you what to do later. Yeah. Don't wait. And the other thing that should go in the preparedness kits, batteries, flashlights, those things that you may not think about, an extra phone, maybe even a flip phone, like the flip phone that I still carry.
An AM radio. You need I have an AM radio that's 20 some odd years old that I keep in my emergency kit. You know, people might laugh, but guess what? During an emergency like that, an AM radio can be your best friend.
Right.
And if you can afford it, get your AM radios. You can get them for a few dollars at Radio Shack or something like that. Nothing fancy. If you can afford it, try to get a CB, a Citizens Band radio, like the truckers use. Because if you're on the road, and remember, my niece had to drive up here from Houston during Hurricane Katrina, and it took them like 12 hours, which normally should be a 4-hour drive. If you've got a Citizen Band radio, you can talk to the truckers, find out alternative routes. You can find out the routes are closed and things like that. Walkie-talkies in emergency situations like that. Pretty much phone lines are going to be down. Even the cell phone lines are going to be down. Keep in touch with family members, walkie-talkies. So there are many things that you can do, and we'll talk more and more about this and more things. And one time on a show, I'll put together a list and just go down the list of things you can do. And once we get more people coming in, talking about things, asking questions, we can talk about how to prepare yourself for these things. I think it's extremely important.
Right. Well, I would think also if you, in your neighborhood, get to know your neighbors.
Just know your neighbors always. Right.
And if there's a preparedness meeting, make sure you attend at your church, at the Chamber of Commerce, or just in the local community. Even though volunteer to be a preparedness volunteer, because it's even though we don't, when it's not happening, when it's not in front of us, we don't think about it because we have so many other things that we're thinking about on a daily basis.
We don't think about it. Right.
And here in California, they're already saying that we're overdue for the big one, and they've been saying that for some time.
Right.
But,
I hope
the big one. Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I'm going to say
the big one could be.
Anytime. It's imminent. Well, what I was going to say is today in L.A., there is a bomb scare, and it's with the train.
The red line.
The red line, and there are bomb-sniffing dogs out. They've been out since last night. People are afraid, and some people are just saying they're going to ride the train anyway, but they call this a credible threat. And they're saying that they're taking all of the necessary precautions. They're bringing out the dogs. They're doing all kinds of things on the red line. I hope they're doing that with all of the lines, because if they do feel that this is a credible threat, somebody may say that it's the red line, and they decide that they're going to do something at the gold line because everybody's concentrating on the red line. So I hope they're taking measures, precautionary measures, all over the county, wherever the train goes. But they're calling this a credible threat.
And with Donald Trump,
with this being holiday time, a lot of people are here on vacation.
Yeah.
Plus, we have what coming up? The Rose Bowl. The Rose Bowl game. So we're really going to have a lot of people here for the holiday weekend. And they're already starting to come.
And that's going to be a big weekend because the parade is on Monday instead of Sunday. The game is on Monday. That is going to be a very big weekend. So people will be in Southern California, especially in the San Gabriel Valley, for 3 and 4 days because it begins on Friday. It begins on Friday, and people are going to be...
With Trump pissing off China like he's done.
Right. We don't know.
He's liable to piss off North Korea.
Oh, yeah.
Iran already warned him, don't mess with that Iran deal. They've already warned him.
And he's going to do it anyway. He's like a moronic kid. Let me see what I can do.
Spoiled child. A spoiled child.
A spoiled child.
A petulant child, exactly what he is.
A petulant child who you can't tell him no. He's going to do it anyway. He's going to do it anyway.
Can I share something with you all about that?
And the inability to be, and maybe controlled is a strong term.
I have something I'd like to share with you guys.
Out of control.
Go ahead, Scotty.
Had you heard, I read this article that Mr. Trump is skipping these, what do they call them? The security briefings, the daily intelligence briefings, and that he's sending Mike Pence in his place. And so a lot of people are saying that Trump will be, well, this is the gist of the article I read. They seem to be saying that Pence may end up being the most powerful vice president in history, even above Dick Cheney. And I can see that playing out because many people, you know, rightly saw George Bush is a dunce, and that it was Dick Cheney really running the show.
Poor thing, he was a complete dunce, and he knows that. His family knows that.
And I can see that playing out with Mike Pence really running the show. And not Trump.
Doesn't want to do any work. Trump is very much like Sarah Palin. They just want to be in front of the camera. They want all the adulation. They want people fawning all over them. They don't want to do the job. It was obvious months and months ago into the primaries. He doesn't want to do the work. He's not curious. Right. When they ask him about something, if he doesn't know, he just makes something up on the fly. He doesn't study the issues. He doesn't want to study the issues. And he said it from day one. He said, I'm just going to surround myself with people who know what they're doing. So in other words, I don't need to know anything.
Because he certainly doesn't know what he's doing.
No. So he said if he surrounds himself with everybody else that knows what he's doing, they're doing, that's fine. So what does he do? He appoints Ben Carson to lead up HUD.
To HUD.
He's a surgeon.
How? Oh my God! Why?
Well, he used to live in the projects. Does that qualify him to run HUD?
Oh, really?
Actually, it came out today. He did not live in the projects.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, I didn't read the article, but it said.
No, he didn't live in the projects. No, he doesn't know anything about HUD.
And this is.
And I know the third man in charge, and I'm telling you, they dread this. They dread this. This
doesn't mean the Carson family wasn't on Section 8 because, I mean, you don't have to live in the projects to get help with housing. And I'm like you guys. Right. What qualifies him to do that?
Oh, really? Really?
Article said that he did not live in public housing.
He can't put a sentence together. He's just like his so-called boss man. He can't put a complete sentence together.
What amazes me is that the way Trump treated all of those primary candidates.
Right, and Carson, they go Bush, right sniffing behind him.
That is I can't even fathom how you go kissing his feet. And you know I didn't want to say feet. After he treated them the way he treated them. I couldn't go back.
Especially Cruz, and especially Carson. Oh my God, the things that he said about Cruz, his wife, his father,
and everybody thought that was acceptable. But I got to tell you something. Democrats are weak. Democrats need to grow a pair. They need to start. They need to grow a pair and figure out how.
And it ain't a pair of boots.
No, it's not, because they're sitting around talking about, oh well, you know, we need to make this work. We all need to get along. No, we don't need to do that. The way they treated President
Can we
Obama,
all get along?
The way they treated President Obama these past 8 years, as far as I'm concerned, the gloves are off. You know,
the gloves.
I'm not being nice. You know, when I get on Facebook, I try to keep, when I get into political discussions on Facebook, I always try to keep it above board, facts only, no name calling or anything like that. And I said something one day, and I used some salty language, and somebody called me on it. I said, you know what? After everything they've done to this president, I'm going to use it. The gloves are off. I'm tired of being a nice guy.
Yeah.
You know,
you
called him the food stamp president. You said he wasn't born here, and people are still. They were talking
all these years. He wasn't born here. What a lie!
Chris Christie was a few months ago was talking about, we're going to kick him out the White House. You're going to kick him out? His term is over.
Really? We're going to kick him out?
People 2 months ago, people were still talking about impeachment. You know, come on. So
well, that's one thing that we have at our advantage with if the electoral votes do go through, that is one thing that we have that we can use as a excuse the expression, trump card.
And you're right.
Down the line.
And I believe that with I believe exactly as Renford Reese said, impeachment.
But are the Democrats going to do it? Are the Democrats going to do it?
You know what?
Democrats are weak. I'm sorry, they're weak.
Democrats are weak, and Democrats have proven their weakness. And you know what? We the people have to take action. Whether we are Democrat, liberals, we have got to take action. Because this man he's going to make sure that the country is in a tailspin. He's going to push and push until he creates a total disaster for the country because he thinks he can. And it's not simply because he's uncontrollable. It's simply because he doesn't know anything. He doesn't know what to do, and he thinks that all he has to do is put smart people around him in high places. No. Because his behavior is unacceptable. Well, his temperament is gone. Go ahead.
With the Republicans disrespecting President Obama,
our president,
his 8-year terms, how does that equate to what this one, in not knowing anything and thinking that he's going to put people in positions that know better than him? There's kind of a comparison here with the disrespect of our current president.
Mm-hmm.
But it's the division with President Obama. It was a division between the president and the Republicans, and with this other one coming into office, it's a division within the own Republican Party.
Right.
Which is saying a lot right there.
Yeah. Right.
I think the problem, Andrew, is going to be that I think at some point they'll go, all right, fine, he's a Republican. They're going to go along with it. They tried to flex their muscle and poke their chest out in the beginning, but they seem to all be falling in line. Paul Ryan's falling in line.
Yes.
He gave Reince Priebus the gig as he gave him. But he's doing all these things, and everybody's falling in line. And that's what I fear, is that they're going to fall in line, because even during and after the primaries, and this is what, and let me say this, during the primaries, what those guys should have done is said, this guy is a buffoon, he's an idiot, he's making a mockery out of the process, he has no respect for the institution. Every Republican candidate on that stage should have said, I refuse to be on the stage with this man, and they should have walked off. They should have walked off. But they didn't have.
So with those that are falling in line, that means now they're eating their own words.
Exactly. Yeah. Well, did you see the picture of Ted Cruz at the call center for Trump?
No.
A few months ago?
Oh, yes, I did see that.
Looking as dejected as
yeah.
As you've ever seen. It's like, how could you do that to yourself? They do it. He met with Mitt Romney the other day. These are people. Marco Rubio called him a con man and called him several names, but but I'm going to vote for him.
How do these people do this, and how do they face their families? How do they face their families like this? They do this, and don't they have any kind of self-respect? Really? They have no self-respect. How do you behave like this in front of your kids? How do you behave like this in front of your family, in front of your friends, people that have supported these men? They kowtow to this person. They tuck their tail between something, and then they kiss his grits. How can that be a man? How can that, are they interested in becoming a different figure in that cabinet? What is the thinking? Because that just doesn't make sense. That just doesn't make sense at all. What kind of real man would do that? Really? I pray that nobody I know.
Well,
so
again,
you're right on point with that. It's just, but it's possible that this one, it's been predicted many years ago that he may even be a catalyst to the Third World War.
Well, yeah. He can take us to places we've never been. And that's the sad part.
Again, that's why we, as a nation of people, we built this land. And the fact that we need to come together, families, communities, churches,
right.
our organizations, and support. This is more critical now
than ever before.
Ever.
Mm-hmm.
Everything that we've learned about, but it's because they're really scared of us, and we've shown in past history how powerful we are, and this is the time for us to be more powerful than ever. But it's not about, but we got to go and buy guns to protect ourselves. And this morning on another radio show I was listening to, they were saying that how can the black man even say that he can stand up and protect his family? They say he can't right now.
Well, we can.
Go ahead,
again,
Ken.
if you are over 18 or 21, depending upon your state, and you are not a felon, you need to go out and get yourself armed. Period. And Andrea, yes, black men need to stand up and protect themselves and their family and do what they have to do. We're coming up toward the end. Colette, you want to talk about the Southern California healthcare event?
I certainly do. And Andrea, thank you so much for joining us. And the other thing, before we go into that, I also want to tell people to please, I implore you, please watch the 13th. That is a film out by Ava DuVernay, and it is profound. It is very profound. I watched it while I was in Dallas, and I could not sit down. I stood up the entire length of the movie. It is profound. It speaks to where we are, where we've been, where we're going, and it should invoke some kind of excitement in everyone that watches it. It will make you want to do something. And with this show, we're talking about getting people out. We're talking about movement. We're talking about solution, and we're talking about coming together and unifying. This movie will move you to do that. It is a very profound movie, and make no mistake, I am not plugging the movie. I'm telling you, you need to go out and watch it. It's profound. But what I do want to tell you about, people, is an upcoming event, and it is the Southern California Women's Health Conference. Give yourself the gift of good health this season. Attend the Southern California Women's Health Conference and Expo that brings together thousands of women, men, families, community-based health organizations, medical professionals, beauty and wellness experts for a fun-filled day of education, inspiration, and fun. And it's all taking place in Pasadena, California on Friday, December 16th from 7:30 a.m. till 3:30 p.m. All workshops in the expo are free, and the man cave is free also. And remember, go to www.thesocalhealthconference.org. That's www.thesocalhealthconference.org. Register. The breakfast is still open, and that is at 7:30, and the tickets are $35. Remember, the Southern California Women's Health Conference, this is the 16th annual year for it. It's fabulous. You got to be there. So, folks, thank you for joining us, and we are about to sign off. We will be with you next Tuesday, same time, same place, and we are celebrating the holidays, and we're giving a lot of discussion and dialogue to what's going on in the country that affects and impacts all of us. Do join us for that. Ken?
Thank you very much for joining us.
Would you like to say a few words?
Yeah, this is Change Matters Solutions, and I'm Kenny Hendricks. We appreciate you tuning in to listen to us. We want to thank Andrea James, a good friend of the show, for coming in and helping us along with this lively discussion. We're always going to have these lively discussions. We're going to talk about all the things that affect the Black community and the community as a whole. We're talking about some domestic issues and some foreign issues, the election, all the things. We're looking for solutions, folks. If you don't hear solutions, if we don't have all the answers, we need you to come in and join us and talk about how we can find solutions to our issues. Again, this is Change Matters Solutions. We thank you for listening, and we're going to go ahead and sign off here.
Yes, I'm Colette Williams. Thank you for joining us. Same place, same time, next Tuesday. Thanks a lot. Happy holidays.